Right, so up here with our next section, looking at section 6, just some imaginary number stuff. First two questions are just simplifying negative square roots. So just remember that the big idea here is you can separate the positive from the negative part. So just square root 16, I mean, that's just 4, or I mean, put it in your calculator, but hopefully you would maybe know that. And just remember the square root of -1 is I. So basically just square root it like normal, put an I at the end of your answer. Same thing with a question like number 2. Just put in your calculator the square root of +42 because you'll get an error if you try and put in the negative because technically there isn't a real solution. So that's about 6.48. Since there's a negative though, you're going to have an I at the end of your answer. So those ones should be pretty easy when you get to your assessment. The next identity you're going to want to know is that I squared is -1. That's going to help us do these power questions. So number 3, what you want to think about, I think like a classroom, just because it's easier for me to visualize. So you have 37 students. How many groups of 2 can you make? Well, you can make 18 groups, but you have 1 left over. And since I squared is -1, we really have -1 up to the 18th power, like that's 18 of our pairs times I. So just one tip when you with your -1 part, if it's up to an even power, it's +1. If you have -1 up to an odd power, like 1, 3, 5, whatever, 7, 11, it's going to equal -1. So since we have an even power, that's going to be +1, but then we have that I that kind of attaches to it. So it'd really just be I or 1I or +1I, however you want to write it, but I would be the answer. So that's some imaginary number stuff.